Today's learning target is I can evaluate or solve expressions using order of operations. Today we're going to be looking at order of operation. When we look at order of operation, what we're doing is we're figuring out which of the problems we're solving first when we have an expression like this. So you can see there's different problems and we want to know what order we solve them in. Last year your teacher likely taught you PEMDAS when solving this. When I write PEMDAS, I like to write it like this, and I'll explain why in just a second. So this PEMDAS can help us to know the order that we're going to solve problems in. So the P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses or groupings. Anything that are in parentheses or groupings, we're going to solve first. The E in PEMDAS stands for exponents. So if you get an exponent, you're going to solve that next. Now, the M and the D in PEMDAS, you'll notice I write on the same line. Those stand for multiplying and division, okay? But the mistake some people make is they think that multiplying always happens first because it comes first in PEMDAS. But however, you won't always multiply first. If you have a multiplying and a division problem in the same problem, it's going to be, you're going to go from left to right, just like reading a book. So whatever's farther to the left, and then you move your way to the right, whether it's multiplying or division, you solve that one first. And then you have the A and the S in PEMDAS, and again, that's the same way with multiplying and dividing. I write them on the same line because that stands for your addition and subtraction, and you're going to go from left to right. Again, whichever way the problem, if you have a subtraction problem that's farther to the left, you're going to solve that first. And just a little side note for you, I learned order of operation using the acronym GEMMA or GEMMA, and I remembered it by saying goats eat mushy apples. So the G stands for groupings. Groupings are just like parentheses. The E stands for exponents. The M stands for multiply and divide, and again, whichever comes first, left to right. And the A stands for add and subtract, again, whatever comes left to right. So you might hear me refer to GEMMA or GEMMA. It's the same as PEMDAS. So in today's assignment, I'm going to be asked to evaluate or solve the expression or the problem right here, and then justify each step means show your work. So you're going to show your work and you'll see how I do that here. So I'm going to use PEMDAS here or GEMMA. And in this problem, I'm going to solve my parentheses or my groupings first. So I see right here is a set of groupings. So I'm going to solve 9 minus 4 is 5. So I write it right below there, and then I write out what is left in the problem. So now I'm left with just this one problem, 25 divided by 5, which would be 5. So there's my answer, and I've justified my work by showing it. All right, let's evaluate this expression right here now. Now, I see that there are no parentheses or groupings in this problem. So I'm going to go down to my next, exponents. I don't see any exponents. So now I go down to the multiplying or dividing. And I see right here there's a multiplying problem. So here's what you should do to show that. I'm just going to create a grouping just like this to show me that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to solve 2 times 6, which is 12. And now I write down the rest of the problem that I still have yet to solve. So now it looks like this. Now there's no more multiplying or dividing, so I can see I just have adding and subtracting left. And I see that's my next step. Now remember, there's an addition problem and a subtraction problem. When I have both of them, I just go left to right. So I start here, I do the problem here first. So that's right here. I'm going to create a grouping just to help myself out. And I'm doing 14 minus 12 is 2, and I write out the rest of the problem is 9, and then when I solve that, I get 11. All right, let's evaluate this expression right here. And remember, again, you can use PEMDAS to help you remember, or the goats eat mushy apples. So we're going to look here. We're going to start with our parentheses or our groupings, okay, and that's in here. And we notice there's several things in here. So we have to solve this first, and in here, next we're going to take a look at the exponents. So here's an exponent. So I see 3 squared, and I'm going to get 9. Remember that exponents tell me how many times I multiply this base number by itself, so it's 3 times 3, which is 9. Don't make a mistake and do 3 times 2. Now, the next step is I have to write out the rest of what's left in the problem. So make sure you do this in your assignment today so I can see your steps. Okay, so now I've done the exponents. Now I'm going to multiply or divide. And remember, I go from left to right. So I see here's a multiplication problem. So sometimes I'll even put a bracket around that so I can see. And that's 8. And now I write out the rest of it. Okay, remember that's in parentheses. Alright, and now I continue with what's in parentheses. That's 17. And now I write out the rest of it. And 30 minus 17 is 13. So this is how all of your problems should look today. You'll be able to see it kind of comes down like that as you do these. So here's our last problem here. Notice in this one we have a fraction sign. And remember, a fraction sign means the same as division. So we want to rewrite this problem as a division problem. So here I rewrote the problem. Okay, notice this is one group right here. So I put parentheses around that problem. And it's divided by this group right here, which I rewrote there. Now I'm ready to solve. Order of operations says I do my groupings or parentheses first. So I'm going to go left to right. That's 45. And I rewrite the rest of the problem. Okay, and now my next grouping is 9. Okay, and now I just solve it like that. Again, it narrows down just like that, and that's my answer.